All right, today I'm going to talk about EBIX. It's a very controversial company. I have some thoughts, my own little independent research that I did, and I'm going to take a look at the parts, the charts, some numbers, some articles, and my opinion, and I'm going to also do a little overview of the company. Well, not that in detail, but anyway. So first of all, EBIX, the reason I'm doing EBIX right now is because Heidenberg came out with an article about them and their recent activities. The article is called EBIX House of Cards, in quotes, seems to have a glaring fake revenue problem. And so basically what they did was research the company and its supposed EBIX Cash IPO and branch in India. And they found some interesting stuff. One thing I found that was very interesting is because I like to go to the source. And so they called, let me see if I can find it here. They called like 970 claimed independent retailers of the EBIX Cash gift cards. And oh, there it is. And so 403 didn't pick up, is the third dot down. 527 told them that they sell the cards. They didn't sell the cards. And then only 40 of them, 7% of those who picked up, told them they sold the cards. But many said that they were selling less than they were before the virus. So that's the article. There's a bunch of other points, like they called a bunch of offices. They visited a bunch of offices, and they claimed that the businesses were shut down. They investigated some of their top clients, and apparently they're unexisting. There are other news articles and claims, like EBIX responded right away with a press release that basically saying no, in not so many words, everything's fine. But and also there are other claims that actually some of the companies are functional, they're just in different IPs or whatever. So there's some counterpoints. One of the points that was mentioned in the article is that, well, first, before we got into that, EBIX Cash. Let me just talk about EBIX Cash for a moment. Okay, so EBIX Cash is a company ran by this guy. All right, Robin Reina. He likes to pose a lot, and apparently he goes off over well in India, although that's up for debate, as I'll talk about in a second. The people in the States kind of make fun of him a little bit for obvious reasons. I don't really care if a person has style, whatever the style is. I just kind of care what they do with the company. But basically what the company does is they sell insurance, a platform, I guess, subscription to an insurance platform in the United States. A very complicated endeavor. And in India, at some point, Robin Reina decided that he wanted to develop India. And so he went in there and started buying up a bunch of companies. Most of the deals are arguably bad deals. One deal that ended up taking off is this gift card business. And so that's the main point of contention nowadays with the company, because the majority of their new revenue, in fact, the majority of revenue now is contributed by this gift card business combined with its exchange business. I guess they hold some exchanges at airports and things like that as well. But that can't be that much money. So I guess the most of it is the gift cards. And it's quite a bit. If we look at the breakdown of the most recent quarter report here, you'll see that $224 million of revenue is from the EBIX Cash exchanges. Their insurance exchange only contributes $43 million of the revenue, and then risk compliance services 18. So that's a huge chunk of revenue, right? Basically, almost all of their revenue is contributed by this EBIX Cash exchange. The profit margin on this gift card business is very low, as you can imagine. It's like 1 or 2% because it's a gift card. Like, you put money on there, and then somebody else uses the money, and you pay like 1% or 2% on top for the convenience. And so it's a very low margin type of business. So you can imagine that they're not making much money on that. But it helps to boost the figures, right? So if we look at EBIX Cash, I'm sorry, let's go to the overview. Take a look at this graph in the bottom. It's where I like to look at. This is stockanalysis.com. And you can see that how their revenue has been growing, but actually their earnings have been decreasing. So this is 96 million here in 2019, 92 in 2020, and only 68 million in 2021 earnings, while the revenue has been skyrocketing. And this is due to the gift card business. So it kind of makes them look like a growth company, but really it's you gotta dig a little bit deeper to find out what's going on here. So anyway, about Robin Reyna, this is his Instagram page. He likes to post there as well. One thing I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of like to go back to that fact that I wanted to mention earlier about their reviews. One of the points that Heidenberg mentioned is that their Google app, basically their Google Play, the App Store, has their app on there, and it's got like 2,400 plus reviews. And I thought it was very, very interesting because most of them are 1-star reviews, and then the rest of them are 5-star. So I thought it was very amusing, and I thought it was very fishy because the 5-star reviews look like this. Look at this. Good, 5 stars. Good, 5 stars. Good, 5 stars. You know? Good, 5 stars. So this is what it looks like. So I have a feeling that the vast majority of these because of this, vast majority of these 5-star ratings are actually fake. And you would think that, okay, so the app is completely dysfunctional and it doesn't work, so everybody who tries it gives it a 1-star. But there's a little bit more to that. When I went to click through the app, through the reviews, most of them, if you can see, are made on around late May 2020. And I think it's actually an attack on the app. You see May 25th, May 28th, May 25th, 24th, May 24th, May 24th. So all of them are made around this time, May 28th, May 26th. And they mention EBIX Cash sponsoring a specific program that these guys are not aware, they're not in favor of. So it's very political. Like some of them mention errors, or losing money or whatever, but a lot of them are referred to this network that supposedly is politically biased, and they want to give it a 1-star because they support this network. And I would say, like, I don't want to say most of the reviews, but a good chunk are done with this motivation. But either case, I think it's very bad news because, like, if your 5-star reviews are fake and your 1-star reviews are fake, there's like zero interest in this app at all, right? It speaks very poorly to the actual interest of the app. But regardless, there's a lot of shysty stuff going on in there, and it seems like everything's very politically motivated or schemy motivated. For some of these reasons, I find it very hard to trust what's actually going on in there. But anyways, let's take a look at some numbers, right? So on the face of it, EBIX looks pretty good if you just take a look at the numbers only. So their P ratio is 7.77 right now after the 40% drop. When the article came out, you can see how steep the drop is from 2340 all the way down to 1454. Now it's sitting at 1663. Let's take a look at the revenue chart. This is by year. You can see that boost in 2021. But the gift card stuff started 2019. The business actually started declining 17 and 18. And then it kind of picked up. You can see it on the quarterly chart more clearly. See how in 2018-19 it started topping off and declining before March 2020. The March 2020 took a nosedive, and then the gift card revenue started kicking in from all these acquisitions in India. So operating income has been slightly declining, peaked out around 2018 like we mentioned. Other things, one thing he hasn't been doing is diluting shares, because he actually owns like a large amount of shares, maybe 10-15% or more of the shares of the company. So he has some kind of interest. I'm just not sure what the hell's going on. I mean, so he has an interest to keep the stock value up and the dividends paying. I have a feeling that this guy basically runs a successful business, owns it in Georgia, in the United States, the state of Georgia, not Georgia the country. And then he kind of uses that cash and money to just play around in India. And by playing around, it's like, yeah, he probably is buying businesses, but they're not going anywhere. No one's managing them. No one's actually taking care of those businesses. And they're just either falling apart, or there's some kind of like, fake accounting going on. The reason I mention accounting is because these guys have a history of firing, or the account firms actually just leaving, not doing business with them in the past. So they have a bad history with accountants, and now they're using some kind of local, Indian accounting firm. Apparently they got, like 5 or 6 accounting firms for the IPO to make sure everything is legit. But at this point, the IPO is not out. So just because they have these accountants doesn't mean everything is going to work out as planned. So until that IPO hits, like, I don't know how much confidence I can put into this company. I'm not one to do like investigative journalism or short reports or anything like that, but I'm actually kind of just losing. I'm losing, my opinion that it's all gonna be fine and worked out, because this company's been a mess like ever since its existence. If you talk to some of the old time EBIX holders, maybe they're a fan of Robin Reyna or whatever, but there have been problems that persist through like the last 10 years. I mean, there's always problems with this company, always accounting problems. And even the US company I researched once, US based branch of the company, like on Glassdoor and things like that, nobody likes working there. Everybody works there just for the paycheck. Because it's mostly B2B, you can't really get customer review. But I'm sure that the other businesses doing business with EBIX are not very happy. So it's a little interesting situation. Let's go to the statistics. The market cap of the company is $500 million, enterprise value is $1 billion. So that means they have $500 million in debt, which they're planning on reducing through the shares, through the money that's raised through the EBIX cash IPO. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe EBIX is going to remain like 30 or 40% shareholder of EBIX cash post IPO. So that's why this company should be getting a bid. But, very interesting stuff. So EV to earnings is actually 16.26. So it's not that high, taking in the debt into account. EV to sales is 1. Mostly it's that low because of that gift card business. Here are some of the margins. Profit margin is now all the way down to 6.64, which is very low for a SaaS business like that. So, but the thing that really strikes me that I think is very important is that most of the revenue, like the vast majority of the revenue, right, like 75-80% of the revenue or something like that, is derived from that EBIX cash exchanges, which is very, I think, a worrisome, very low margin business that we don't even, that its legitimacy is in question. So they're supposed to do other stuff like help transactions for buses and other government programs and things like that, but I don't know, I don't ever hear anything about that, and it's very hard to actually go in there and investigate on site because it's in India. We don't know what's going on in there. So it's just, the company just ends up being not very transparent at all. But I buy this company now. Well, actually, interestingly enough, I sold a put or a few puts on the company a week ago, and obviously I lost a lot of money on it. I have been collecting premium around this company for a very long time, maybe like 2 years before that. And now that it's dropped to 1660 at the moment, I've been forced to buy some shares. I got rid of half of them, and I still have some that I'm gonna get rid of Monday or by the end of the week, hopefully, either through selling calls or just selling shares outright and using the money to do something else. If you're interested in my public account, I do a review of the account Monday through Friday. Nowadays, every day. I sometimes skip, but I'll do Monday through Friday. Update everybody on the account so you can see what's going on with that EBIX position. I also like to do a little company reviews and overviews. So if you're interested, like this video over here, if you're interested in those, just look forward to them I do them usually towards the weekend. And if you have a request of a company that you want me to look at, you can just leave that in the comment, and I'll try my best to get to it. And I mainly look at the charts and the numbers. I don't go too far in depth, just like I did with this company. So keep that in mind. This is just my opinion. Basically, just you get my take and my perspective on the company, not necessarily like, the most in-depth official research like Heidenberg or whatever. All right, so I'm gonna end right here. Let me know if you want me to review a company. Okay, peace.